Welcome back. Today we're going to do a quick video on building the Rainbow Riffle brushes. I said that I was going to do this one a while back. I'm finally getting around to doing it. Today we're going to do this in the, this is the white and pink. This is one that I use for the rainbow version of the Rainbow Riffle. Olive and white typically. I got a couple of them back here. Let's see what we got here. There's just a few of them that I have. There's a couple dozen sitting back there and about to be a lot more, so we're going to start tying a ton of these here before long. But these are the Rainbow Riffles. You've seen the videos before. These are the brushes that I started using on these things. Absolutely love these brushes. They are very quick to make, as opposed to the marabou brushes that I was making for the Octobers and the landing strips, so on and so forth. Those ones take a little bit extra time, but same thing with them. I mean, you get the time that it takes pays off in the long run when you're actually tying these in a production setting. Because I don't know, I'm sitting here, here's the back halves of the marabou brushes for the white Octobers. There's already, I think, a dozen of these that are done. There's another 20 or so to go still. But with those brushes, I mean, that was done in essentially one night of tying. All of the back halves, and then completed maybe a dozen of them. Essentially, like I said, one night of tying. There is a little time investment with building the actual brushes, but the thing is, like I described in that video, building the marabou brushes, it's all material that would have been tossed away and now is repurposed, and then in my opinion makes a better fly than just palmering straight marabou, unless you get the actual absolute perfect plume for when you're palmering. These outfish and outswim them every day of the week. It's unbelievable, the difference, and you can see it breathe in the water. That it retains bulk. I just absolutely love it, and I won't go back to palmering marabou anymore. So without any further rambling on that, we're going to get into building the actual Rainbow Riffle brush. This is very simple. Hare's Ice Dub, Sanyo Shaggy Dub. The only two components that are in this one. Very easy to make. The reason that I go with the Hare's Dub is there's actual hare's ear in here. I mean, it's a little bit more coarse, and it grabs on the actual wire, as opposed to using just a straight ice dub where it's all synthetic. Nothing's really going to grab on that. I built a few of them out of the straight ice dub, and I noticed when I'm rotating the vise and I go to anchor something in, whatever I have my finger on, when I'm anchoring something in on the vise, whatever I have my finger on tends to peel back a little bit, and then I wind up losing a little bit on that actual brush. With the Hare's Ice Dub, I don't lose anything. I can pull on that pretty aggressively, and it's not going to slip on that wire. So without any further ado here, we're going to get to going on this brush here. So you can see we have our setup. I'm going to get some medium dubbing brush wire, and I'm just going to peel a length of this off. Get that out of the way. We're going to peel a length of this off, get that eye to where it's horizontal. Just a couple of quick wraps around there. Give me 3, and then I'm going to pull that tight. Everything's good. I'm going to loop this around on the other side. Now that I have my wire in place, I'm going to bring this up, get my platform ready to work. I'm going to set that in. Now we have everything set how we want it. Now all we're going to do is just layer some Hare's Ice Dub throughout. Now what I do on this, and I know the white's not going to pick up the best, but I felt that the white and pink is going to contrast the best for when I go spinning this thing up, and hopefully it picks up pretty good on the camera. But all I'm doing is just taking this and I'm going one piece right in front of the next. If it's a little uneven, it's not a big deal. By the time, if you have some gaps and everything that you're missing throughout this, or once you look at it before you throw the shaggy dub on there, if you have some gaps, you just take a little bit and throw it into this brush. And I can see I have one gap that I'm going to have to fill already. And I'm just peeling this stuff out, working this in my hand, getting nice even coverage, and I lay that right in the front. Should have one more piece and I'll be good to go. Some of these, like this right here, this isn't too awful bad. Some of them you'll get really heavy chunks of rabbit fur in there, and it can kind of bind this up a little bit. I try and pick those out as I'm going through. Now I'm just going to lay a couple of pieces in here where I see that the coverage is a little bit sparse. I got one more spot right here that I want to fill in. I can go a little bit closer to the back as well. Okay, so there you can see we have our coverage throughout. We have good gap control throughout the entirety. The only thing that we're going to do now is we're going to take some of this shaggy dub, and I'm going to take some of this out in my hand, and I'm just going to lay this in throughout the brush. Just working this right down through here, maybe have a half a dozen fibers, just spread them out a little bit. After you do a couple of these, you'll get a feel for how much you want in there. I tend to go a little heavier on this color especially. I want some of that pink to come through, and if I get it a little bit too sparse, it doesn't quite show up once the fly's in the water. So I like having this little bit of extra in here. Now some of the other colors, like the rust and cream that I do, the Hare's Dub and the Shaggy Dub are about the same color. I use like a tan with those, so I go a little bit more sparse on that. That's too heavy. That's too heavy. Alright, let me get one more piece in there. Alright, everything looks pretty good so far. Everything's pretty clean. You can see in the camera there again, we have the nice coverage throughout. There's a few that are going to fall out, which you're going to lose a couple here every once in a while. Not a big deal. So now we're going to double our wire back over. I'm going to cut this and have that in place. I'm just going to give this a couple of turns so I can get a couple of wraps around. There we go. Now I'm going to trim that excess wire and get that out of my way. Now I'm going to bring the drill in. Get those flies out of the way. Bring in the drill. And I'm going to set that, and I'm just going to turn this ever so slightly until I get about to my 3/4 mark. You can see how everything's starting to twist up pretty good for you. I have about 1/4 of the length left. I'm just going to move my platform down now, and I'm going to spin the rest of it. Alright, so there we have the initial look at our brush. Now I'm just going to take and comb this stuff out a little bit, and then I go through with my bodkin. And any of these ones that are trapped in there real bad, I just pick those out. Just working this material out, that way when I wrap these around, I'm going to have free shaggy dub to create a little bit more motion and a little bit more bulk throughout my brush and the body on the fly. And it's starting to come into shape. And you can use these too if you want to go like some. I've seen some patterns where it's not shaggy dub that's used for a woolly bugger. It's like a, I don't know. It looks about the same, but it's a lot thicker than what this is here. So if you wanted to, I mean, you could probably triple up the shaggy dub, and that would make a nice woolly bugger body for something like that. So now I'm just going to finish twisting this up until I get some good tension on here. Couple sparse sections, one right there, which that'll be at the natural break of a fly, and then I'll just move forward to that, so I'm not losing a whole lot there. Everything else on this looks pretty good. I got a sparse section toward the end, but that's alright, it looks pretty good right there. So now the only thing that I do is I remove this, I trim that section, throw that into the pile, and there you have a Rainbow Riffle brush. Add that one to the pile. Get that one out of the way, and we'll get our table out of here. That's it. As simple as that. That's one of the quickest ways to tie this fly. Like I said, there's a little bit of a time investment in here. If you're tying a dozen or more of these, or something similar, it absolutely pays to take the time, put these together, because when you're actually tying, I can tie these things, and if I were to tie one straight through, I bet you I could have it tied in maybe 5-6 minutes. I mean, it is really quick. But like I said, there is a little bit of a time investment in this, a lot less in this one than there is in the Marabou brushes. Let me get that out of the way. But just mess around with these different colors, whatever it is. And like I said, if you wanted to do some of those shaggy woolly buggers as well, just probably triple up your shaggy dub in here, and it'll make a nice body for that application. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot more I can say on this one. Like I said, it is pretty simple. But if you guys have any questions or comments on these, as always, leave them with me, and I'll get back to you. But thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next Wednesday.